Avronauts! Ladies and gentlemen, today is a very exciting day.
It is! It is!
Why is it so exciting, Matthew?
Because we are playing the brand new expansion that just came out, War of the Spark, and to follow up with that, before we get into that too far, me and Dan are going to be going through our top 5 each. Top 5 each. Of our new cards from War of the Spark that we think are going to be impacting the standard meta or the most impact in standard.
That's correct, yeah. So we don't really play too much of the other formats. Standard is really what I feel most comfortable with personally. I'm sure Matthew feels the same way.
Yeah. Standard and limited. Standard and limited.
So really, I think these cards are really just trying to have the most impact on the meta.
Yep.
Maybe even... So you'll find that in these top 5s, it's not necessarily going to pick cards that are speculative, I would say.
Yeah.
Like for instance, like there are some great Amass cards if you're thinking about an Amass deck. And
Right.
And that's kind of hard to put in the top 5 because it's hard to really sort of gauge how good Amass is going to be this early, right?
I think that Amass is going to be insane in limited.
Yeah.
Like if you get something going together with Amass and limited, it's going to be insane. But we're not here talking about limited. We are talking strictly about top 5 cards for standard.
That's correct, yeah.
So before we get too far into that, we're going to sort of take a look at our 2 top 5 lists and how does that look, what does that mean for everything, and sort of go from there, okay?
As you'll see, we have some excellent, may we just say, visuals for you guys today.
I was working hard on those. A little pat on the back, you know.
First, we want to apologize. We haven't really streamed in quite a while.
It's been a while. It's been 2 weeks because of Easter and...
Yeah, so Easter, I'm extremely busy with work. Now we're on the tail end of April with the new expansion. Super stoked because I get to play this game a lot more than I was able to before. And we both had an opportunity to review all the cards.
Yeah.
We went through them together to some extent. Maybe an overlap or two. But we both really came at our top 5s in sort of different perspectives, I think.
Yeah. But overall, like, you're going to see... You know, I'm not gonna spoil anything. I'm not gonna spoil anything. I watched Endgame. I'm not spoiling anything. Don't spoil Endgame.
I'm watching it tonight.
He's watching it tonight. So hashtag don't spoil Endgame. Hashtag don't spoil top 5. So we're gonna get into it. We're gonna start off with my top 5.
Yeah, let's start off with yours.
My top 5. So before we get into it, keep in mind my personal opinion, and if you don't agree with it, that's cool. Leave those things down in the comments. Let us know about what you think. Like if you don't agree, let us know why. Let's get a conversation going. And,
for sure.
More than happy to touch on why we think that these cards are in the top 5 and sort of, you know, like what do we think is going to happen. So while we get there,
let's get my name out of there first of all. Oh,
disappear. So my number 5 pick is Gideon Blackblade. So this is one of the 36 planeswalkers that are coming out with War of the Spark. So these are he's one of the mythic ones. So traditionally we always see planeswalkers coming out in the mythic format. For those of you who don't know, planeswalkers are mythic, rare, or even uncommon in this set. So I went here with my number 5 pick as a mythic planeswalker, Gideon Blackblade. Blackblade refers to his sword, actually. I'm reading the book, War of the Spark, about almost halfway through at this point. It's so good. I recommend you guys check that out. It was so cool.
Available on Amazon.
Yeah?
Amazon Canada.
Yeah, Amazon Canada. So, first thing I want to talk about with this is that no matter what, he's a 3 mana, double white. It's a little bit more white intensive, so you're going to see this probably more in the aggro decks and things like that. But the key here is that he becomes a 4/4 human soldier that's indestructible. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to him during your turn.
So a 4/4 indestructible for 3 mana in and of itself is just nuts.
That's a great thing. It's +1 up to 1 other target creature you control. Gains your choice of Vigilance, Lifelink, or Indestructible, so one of those, which is very cool. And then his -6, while normally we're used to seeing -6s or like ultimates like really breaking the game, this one really doesn't do that. This one is more for its value of being a 4/4 Indestructible for 3 mana. So cool. Really excited about that. I almost feel like I need to make this a little bit bigger. Should I make it a little? Nah. It's readable.
That's fine. That's fine.
Alright, next we're going to go into my 4th pick. Again, is going to be a planeswalker. This set is full of planeswalkers, and I'm sort of prefacing that now.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, believe it or not, there's a lot of planeswalkers in this set. So
this is coming in at one of the rare planeswalkers of the set.
Yeah, so like I was saying before, not everything is mythic. This one is a rare. Teferi, we already see Teferi like Anyone who plays against Esper Control or plays Esper Control knows Teferi very well.
Absolutely.
This one's a little different though. This one I can see coming up a lot, and like this is what we were talking about, especially in control mirrors, sideboarding, or even in the main board because of his passive. Not much for anything else, but each opponent can cast spells only at any time they can cast a sorcery. That means no counter spells.
Yeah, so just imagine playing this on your turn,
yeah,
and you don't want your opponent to counter a really big play you have going on, so you just go ahead and whip out the Teferi Time Raveler, and then you play the card knowing that they can't cancel it because
that's it.
They don't have the ability to play.
They cannot play at instant speed. They have to play at sorcery speed, which is very cool. I mean, his +1 is okay. I don't know if this is going to have a huge impact. It's really for his passive is why I'm really intrigued in this card. And his -3, it's like, you know, a little bounce effect and you get to draw a card. Not again, nothing crazy. But it does like get rid of pesky tokens like the amassings we were talking about before, which is kind of cool.
+1 is nice because it sort of allows the effect to be one-sided. Because right off the get-go, the passive is a two-sided effect, so it is.
It's each opponent, right?
Oh, it's each opponent.
It's not you. You're not impacted by.
Oh, it's even better than I thought.
Yeah. You thought that impacted you.
Okay, so not only. Okay, so it affects your opponents passively. It doesn't. First of all, I thought it was a negative effect.
Yeah. No.
Okay, so the passive effect only affects your opponents, and then on top of that, your +1 could allow you to have flash
on your sorceries.
Spells on your sorceries, which is
correct.
That's
so
pretty great.
Really cool. This is why he's in my number 4 spot. We're gonna go now into my number 3 spot. Again, it's a rare, Oath of Kaya.
I would say this was unexpected. This pick.
Yeah, a little bit more. Not as in the sense of being an overpowered card by itself, but I feel like it has a really nice spot in anything that is touching white and black. Could be white-black, could be like a Mardu even, like we played Mardu Control.
Yeah.
So fun, and it's in my new Mardu Control list. The thing is, though, this, and you called to this, is that it speaks very, you know, people who played Magic for a while, I was on and off for a long time, but it reminds me of a card that I believe was called Lightning Helix.
Yeah.
So you gain 3 life, deal 3 damage. That was an instant spell for 2 mana, so while this doesn't have the same power level, it does have an ongoing passive effect where whenever an opponent attacks a planeswalker you control, you deal 2 damage to them and you gain 2 life, which is pretty cool. The nice thing that I really want to emphasize here is that when it says it deals 3 damage to any target. So you could target a planeswalker, you could target their face, you can target a creature. There's no limitations on that, which is I feel is really nice for 3 mana. That's why I have it here at my number 3 spot. I feel like it's going to have a little bit more flexibility than the first 2 cards, because the other 2 sort of fit in very particular decks. This one might see value even in mid-range.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be in a control list, so a little bit more flexibility there.
It's a cute little card.
It's a cute card. It's a cute card. There's not much else to say about it, so
yeah, the fact that it's when an opponent attacks a planeswalker specifically, obviously this deck, this card would be a little more suited for a deck that runs planeswalkers.
Exactly. That's how you're going to get that more passive benefits ongoing. So I'll jump into my second card, and you know, Papa Nico, Papa Nico,
as we like to call him, Papa Nico.
Nico Bolas Dragon God, like people, and we were talking about this earlier today too, was the potential for this card causing insane infinite combos.
Yeah.
Right, and being able to just go off with a sexy Jace.
Yeah. Okay, so like I just want to dive in here because I know it is your top 5. And
No.
So control. Combo decks in standard in the past, I'll call it year. So like Ravnica, Guild's Ravnica Allegiance, and even Dominaria. Combo lists are very, very few and far between.
Yeah.
We haven't really seen much of it, though. The most we've really seen in the most recent expansion was Reclamation combo with turns.
Yeah.
That's the only really combo deck that we've seen in standard. With this new expansion, combo decks are going to be a lot more common, I feel.
Yeah, and that all stems from the fact of Nico Bolas' passive saying that he has all loyalty abilities of all other planeswalkers on the battlefield. So that includes your side and your opponent's side. That's both sides combined. So if they have something there, you can use their own ability against them potentially. His +1 is just fun. Draw a card, they exile a card from their hand or permanent. If they don't have a card in their hand, they exile something.
What's wrong with that?
And that includes lands. That does include lands. It includes everything because it is permanent, not non-land permanent. -3, destroy target creature or planeswalker. 5 mana, kill something. And then it's -8. It's just kind of funny. I don't think you're ever really going to get to a -8 with him because your opponent's going to throw everything at him in the kitchen sink.
Sure.
But if they don't control a legendary creature or planeswalker, that's it.
C'est kaput.
They lose. That's it. It's just that simple. So, fun card. That's why I have it at my number 2 spot. So I bet you guys are thinking, What's number 1?
I wonder. But before we get to number 1,
before we get there, I have one quick honorable mention in the whole theme of amass and things like that. This right here is my honorable mention pick, Dreadhorde Invasion. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose a life and you amass 1. So that means that, you know, if you do not have an army token, you create one and put a +1/+1 counter on it. If you already have one, it starts stacking up on the existing one. It cannot go wide. It has to go on your existing army token, which is okay with me. It's been playing out. Seems like it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so this is really the one niche card of the list, right?
It's a niche. Oh, for sure. And you need to be willing to play amass or willing to get into this world for this to work. The other nice thing is that whenever a zombie token you control with 6 or more attacks, it gains lifelink.
Yeah, so eventually, if you get a big enough zombie with enough amass, the 1 life that it costs to actually use in the beginning of your upkeep doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah, and life is a resource.
Life
is a resource.
Is emphasized in this game time
all the
again.
time, right? We spend life, shock lands, what have you, to get ahead. This is a card lets you get ahead. And finally, my number 1 pick. I'm so excited to play with this card. I have had the chance to play. Spoilers. I've played a little bit of War of the Spark so far this weekend when it came out.
I personally have not.
I opened my packs and all that jazz.
I opened all my packs.
And this card impressed me the most when I was reading the list, and then it impressed me the most when I was playing. God Eternal Kefnet. My goodness, this card. It's not only going to have standard implications, it's going to have, I'm sure, modern implications as well. I don't know about Legacy or anything like that. I don't think it'll go much further than that, but definitely standard, definitely modern vibes. For 4/5 flyer for 4 mana, great value.
For sure.
Like, you see, like, Crackling Drake, or Cracking Drake, whatever it is, at 4 mana for weaker value. The nice thing about this is that when it dies, or it gets exiled, so it dies or exiled, if it gets countered, it doesn't happen, it'll go, you can have the choice to put it back into your deck.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet. The other thing that's nice is that when you reveal, you draw your card, you can reveal it if you do, if it's an instant or sorcery. You may play a copy that card. You may cast the copy for less. Not the card itself. You still have the card in your hand, but you can use it to cancel or to draw more cards, to like just go off. There's a really insane like commence the end game card that I didn't talk about here, and it's not on either on our top 5 list, but it's like draw cards and amass X, or X the number of cards in your hand. That card with this, bellissimo. So that's it for my top 5.
So just a sec before I talk about mine, because Kefnet, there's just so much here that is so good. Yeah. The fact that it has 5 life instead of 4 life, huge.
Lava Coil
is off the table.
Yeah.
The fact that it doesn't really die, and this is something that I've seen. If it gets exiled with like Conclave Tribunal, it goes back in your deck. It doesn't go.
It doesn't disappear. It doesn't die.
It gets exiled. So it gets exiled. Like, no, it goes back into your deck. It doesn't have to be off the battlefield due to death. Mm-hmm. It's off the battlefield even due to exile, which is wow.
Yeah.
And then the fact that it doesn't use the card that you draw, and on top of that, we didn't even mention this. You have the choice to reveal it. You don't have to always reveal the card.
You don't.
You draw it, and you're like, do I want to reveal this? Well, it's not instant or sorcery. Rather not them know the information.
Why give the information for free?
There's so much here that, just amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Agreed. So, I think it's your turn now for your top 5, right?
All right, let's go ahead and pop my name back on there. Get that Matthew's name out. There we go.
Gone. All right. So for my top 1, we're going to Dan's top 5 now.
We got this.
You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready. You guys ready? I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. My number 5 is Blast Zone. So,
why?
Whenever there's value on a land, aside from the fact that it gives land, I'm already super stoked. So let's just break this down. So it taps for land, which is great, sure, whatever. But on top of that, if you're facing a pesky creature, on the opponent's side, and if you have a whole bunch of land that you're otherwise unable to use, a land can get rid of a scary creature.
Yeah.
A land could get rid of several creatures. So if you're facing red deck wins, and you play this land out against this
2.
You just have to. You could tap 2 mana to get 1 charge, and they'll probably wipe their board if they have a huge wide board.
It's true.
And it's not super expensive, and it's on a land. A land is uncounterable.
Less interactivity.
Exactly.
There's very few cards, if at all, that say destroy target land.
Exactly.
That people are running actively in standard. So, agreed 100%. This card seems like a lot of fun.
And it comes on with a charge counter already on it.
So it's already ready to go.
By default, ready to tap and destroy if you need to kill people at CMC of 1.
Right. The only thing is that you can only use it once.
You can only use it once.
It explodes once and that's it. See ya.
But I know that engineered explosives is a huge card that's been talked about in other areas of Magic.
Right.
That is seen as a top tier card. Blast Zone, I think, is just going to follow suit.
Very cool. All right, what's your number 4?
All right, so let's go ahead to my number 4. So some overlap, as I mentioned before. Yeah. What's not to not like about Nicol Bolas? The combo deck potential with Sexy Man Jace. It's just
we have to like bring it up. I'll bring it up after when we're in game.
Yeah. We could talk about it later. But just so it's 5 mana. So yeah, it's a bit of a difficult.
It's a hard cast. It's a hard cast for sure,
which is fine. But the combo potential is so good, and on top of that, his +1 is it's a solid +1. Like it's what you'd want out of a +1.
It replaces itself by drawing a card by default.
Yeah.
Then it also is like we're gonna exile something. Like out of here.
It's just so good. Like we talked about it before. It's just solid card.
All right, so that's why we knew that good card. All right, number 3.
All right, so I went a bit different than Matthew here. So God Eternals, there was 1 release for each color.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know about red.
I think that's the only one that didn't have. I think there's 4. I have to check.
Red got the board. But anyway, so this is why I think God Eternal Catcher is so good. It's not like you have to think about why it's good. It's just great value. It's just you play this card, it's 5 mana, 3/6 double strike. Double strike is a great keyword.
Oh yes.
And on top of that, you just play a creature, you get a 4/4. Like that's insane value. Like 3/6 and 4/4, 7/10.
You play this out, and then you follow it up with like just a 1/1 for 1, like a simple 1-drop.
Yeah. Like
boom, you get more value off the table.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's not like there's no secret things that are going on in my head here. It's just a great value card.
Play more creatures, get large tokens.
Exactly. And that's why I think it's just going to be great. It's just like you can throw this in any mid-range list and you're going to probably get great value out of a catcher. And it has the same great benefits of the blue one.
Kefnet, yeah.
Like if it gets exiled, it goes back into your deck. If it dies, it goes back into your deck.
So it really doesn't matter.
And it's a choice too. Like I mean, if you really want to just let him not go back into your deck,
hey, you may
really
want it in your graveyard.
Exactly.
You may be having an Eldest Reborn ticking, and it's like, you know what? I want that in my graveyard because I'm going to bring it back next turn anyway.
Yeah, I don't want to pay the I don't want to pay the casting cost again. I would rather get it for free.
Exactly. So number 2.
Number 2.
I
had a lot to say about it when Matthew put it on. I think this card is super, super powerful. Man, what else is there to say? Like, it's
a zombie.
It's a zombie. Yeah. Okay, so there's some zombie synergies that I've been seeing with Amass because Amass creates zombie creatures.
Yeah.
And I know that there are some cards that think specifically say like they destroy all non-zombies and then there's some
interactions with zombies.
Then there's some wards that say your zombie creatures get +1/+1. I know that there's one. I think it's Death Baron or something. That was M19.
Yeah.
So like you could create some sort of zombie deck if you really wanted to, but that's not really what I'm interested in. I'm really interested in
not with this kind of a card. So
control deck, probably.
Oh yes. Agreed.
And combo with that blue card that Matthew was mentioning, the one that if you
commence the end game.
Yeah. Having unlimited, and then it untaps 5 cards and whatnot if X is 10 or more.
Oh, that's a different one. But yes,
that's a different one.
Yeah.
Okay, but that could go on that too. Why not?
We'll pull it up in game afterwards too.
All right.
You have an honorable mention too, right?
I do have an honorable mention, and I went different than my brother here. So, Dreadhorde Arcanist. Why do I think that this card is so good? So, on its surface, I'm not a huge aggro player.
Neither of us really are.
But I think what makes this so good in my mind, it's 2 mana for 1/3 and trample. Okay. Trample keyword on this is a bit weird. I don't really care. But imagine this in red deck wins. We have a 1/3 creature, and you just shock them for the face because, you're a red deck.
Why not? You shock the face.
You play this card on turn 2. The key thing is, when this card attacks, it's not even deal damage. It doesn't have to deal damage. It doesn't have to deal damage, it just has to attack. You may use a card in your graveyard, instant or sorcery, and you could cast it for free. Why not? Like, it's amazing value. And on top of that, if you're really thinking, and this is the direction I'm going, and it actually is kind of nice that we both had an honorable mention, having sort of a niche idea here. Yeah. I'm thinking that there is a way to use this card in some sort of buff creature-based deck.
With first strikes, with giant growths.
Yes, exactly. So I'm going to be brewing that at some point. And then if you do that, if he has 4 attack, let's just go ahead and take an experimental frenzy out of my graveyard.
It's an enchantment.
Oh, it's enchantment. Okay, sorry.
Risk factor.
Sorry,
let's
factor. Let's take the risk factor out of my graveyard. Yeah. All right, yeah, and I just think this card has insane potential. Being able to recast these cards for free is just insane value you want in a card.
Very cool. I think it has a great potential and exactly what you're highlighting. So really excited to see if we can brew something up. I'm sure Daniel will come up with something and then we'll end up playing it on the stream next week or the week after. Yep. Or, hey, you know what? We got 3 months of war at the Spark until the next set again. So, I mean, we're excited for that. So,
sure.
The last one, your number 1.
My number 1 went a bit different than Matthew. Another Planeswalker. Yes, I know. But we know.
But a mythic one.
But it is a mythic Planeswalker, just like Gideon Blackblade was. Excellent passive ability on Liliana. Having a creature die and being able to draw a card, like that's just great value. And on top of that, it specifically says creature.
That includes tokens.
That includes tokens. And guess what? Liliana creates tokens.
Yes, it does.
So as a passive, it creates a 2/2, and just bear in mind here, we're talking about a 6 converted mana cost. Comes in with 6 loyalty, which is pretty strong, super great. And on top of that, worst comes to worst, if you're in dire straits, you play out Liliana, you do the -4, clear out the enemy's board, and then you can just go ahead and try and catch up that way.
And if you are doing the whole token vibe, if you do -4, you can kill 2 of your own creatures, you'll draw 2 cards.
Exactly.
So like it generates value, it's creating these opportunities. The -9 is a win con.
Yeah.
I would consider that a win condition.
Absolutely. Because it is each permanent, right? And it is each opponent.
One land.
Yep.
1 creature.
Yeah, go ahead and discard your 9 lands. That's fine.
See you later, right? So, huge potential with this one. This does tie in as well, too. We didn't get a chance to put it. We were thinking about it as well in our top 5s, which was Elder Spell, which I'm going to pull up as well for us to check out. Where, is there a combo deck that exists where you play Liliana and then play Elder Spell?
And then -9.
And being able to -9 on turn 1? Like something crazy like that could exist where you're sacking either your own or your opponent's Planeswalkers and then being able to be like, boom, blow up their board.
Absolutely.
Like, a lot of exciting potential with this kind of a card. And really, anytime you're able to generate value with tokens and like it could protect itself and all these cool things, and I'm just really excited.
Yeah, but winning combination.
Winning combination. So
I think it's going to be real top tier.
Agreed. So I am going to... Oh, I'm going to disappear those. Pop these up here so that everyone can, so that we can see exactly what our top cards were. Absolutely. This is a breakdown of our lists. We're going to be posting this up so that we can refer back to it. We didn't have a chance to review that for RNA.
We were very wrong.
Yeah, because we had like Donry number 1.
Let's just be clear there.
We were way off.
It was funny. I think it's because we were sort of new in the scene.
Yeah.
And this is our first time sort of making these sorts of assessments. I think now I feel a little more comfortable in my assessment ability.
Yes.
And I think we took a bit more time
to figure this out. We didn't rush this time.
Yeah.
And that was key. So we're definitely going to be doing this more often. And so if you like this kind of content, let us know because we like analyzing cards. We like analyzing like different sort of like
totally big on brewing and stuff like that, as you've seen on this channel.
Where we challenged ourselves. We had a competition the other time where I named a legendary a mythic card. Yeah. I named a mythic down. I had 3 minutes to build a deck around
3 minutes.
So you have to just look at it and be like, oh my god. So definitely, as we get more used to this set, I'm sure we'll have a similar challenge where it's like, okay, you got to build a deck around this. Go.
For sure.
Right? And be able to have fun with that again. So if you like that, let us know because we'd love to keep providing that kind of content that people enjoy and like watching. So with all that being said, I think we're going to jump into some gameplay now. I think we actually want to show off
absolutely. So
some of the new cards and stuff that's going on.
As Matthew was bragging, he's had the opportunity to play this expansion.
I have.
So,
straight up. Like, there's no doubt.